The West Rand has been declared a COVID-19 hotspot by Premier David Makhura as the area saw a gradual increase in coronavirus cases among mining communities reopening. Now, the Premier also said the provincial government is conducting tests in communities where the miners live. Take a listen.
We are using all the resources from all these various mining houses and the government resources to help ensure that we can respond comprehensively to contain this pandemic. In this area, as I say, is now classified as a hotspot because of just in 1 week, they've had this 196 new infections. That's a matter of great concern for us, but we have been working with our local government colleagues who are here, working with these various sectors. We are doing testing in communities as I speak right now. There's community testing taking place in the targeted communities where some of the workers who come from these mining houses, especially those who come from Anglo Gold, Ashanti, we are doing testing. In Kokosi, we are doing testing in Wedela as well. These are the local communities that are feeder communities.
So, of course, the immediate question is exactly how are mining communities affected by these cluster outbreaks? Let's rope in the national coordinator of the Mining Affected Communities United in Action, and that's Meshack Mbangula. Meshack, thanks very much for your time. Welcome to the AM report. So, you know, some of the mining areas being declared a hotspot essentially means that more resources will be allowed to actually combat the outbreak. But at around the 14th of April, several organizations had actually written an open letter to the president asking for targeted measures, particularly for mining communities. What are some of those targeted measures, and do you think they have been implemented in the lead up to these cluster outbreaks?
Thank you for having me. In fact, as mining affected communities, we have many times asked to be part of the task team, so that we can see measures, put in place before even the mine are opening, the 50%. But unfortunately, that from the mining side, from the communities, nothing has been allowed to be done. So we want to see the fixed new places for screening, testing in all the mining affected communities being there and done correctly, like the universal testing of the communities, not just fixed tents for now and then they remove them. We have to do away with the legacy of the mine, being brutal to the communities and its entrenched nature. So we want to see all those measures be there all the time. And not to say we talk about communities after the crisis. There should be screening that is taking place by the mine in conjunction with the health and safety department. But if it's the only mine is interested in testing the workers because they want to make profits from the workers, that doesn't work. We want to see fixed health and safety facilities that are there to test, screen the people all the time, and isolating place, treatment being done to the people, not only people to isolate for themselves. They must be in a place where there is facilities to make sure that they recover very well from this places. As we know, the mine, they've got a bad legacy of bringing diseases like tuberculosis, silicosis. So they must, in this time, change the whole nature and do the right thing.
And of course, you raise a very important issue, and that's around comorbidities within the mining community. Government in and of itself is claiming that they bring in the healthiest miners first to try and see whether or not they'll be able to respond adequately to the outbreak. Is that true? Are you finding that, it's usually just mine workers who don't have these underlying conditions that are at the mines? Not that this makes things any better.
If you look at the unions themselves are very much against opening of the mine until serious measures are taken into consideration. AMCU, all of them, they say no, let's not go back to work until we know that everything it's right. So as communities, we as well have joined to say these people intrinsically interact with communities. And if workers are affected. That's the fraction of the number. The real number is very high with the communities. So there's no somebody that is healthy. You have to go through screening, testing, and isolate, universal testing, so that you can know who are the right people. And you go further than that to the communities and do the very same thing of screening, testing the people, and to make sure that everybody is right. Not to rush for the profits, but to make sure this is we avoid spreading of this dangerous virus. But as we know, the mines, they're just interested in making profits. So we as communities won't definitely allow that, especially as Makua, because we believe that our people, we shouldn't to talk about them after the crisis. They should be involved now. We should avoid this virus, spreading to our people.
Yeah. The other concern, of course, is that a lot of the positive cases are from people who are actually asymptomatic, which essentially means it's not easy to identify them because they're not showing any symptoms. What are some of the big concerns from the communities around the impact that this is likely to have within the home? Because there's a very real possibility that people are interacting with people who do have the virus but are simply not aware of it because of what I've just mentioned, the fact that they're not displaying any symptoms.
That's why we talk about universal testing, because asymptomatic people, those people that don't feel that they're sick and all that stuff. But if we start doing the universal testing and we be aware of those people, and not only testing the workers, because workers become communities after work. So they should be doing the testing, in a broader way to make sure that we curb this virus. And what is really disturbing is that in some of the mines, the real truth is not coming out. They have done the right testing. We're talking of the company in Ogni, in Northwest. It's working, but they've tested 20 people, but they continue working. So the mines, in its nature, entrenched nature, they don't really comply with a lot of things. So it's important that the health and safety department get involved. Communities are part of the task team to make sure that there is compliance. So communities are very much concerned because the mine is not interested in making sure that these facilities of testing the people, isolating people, are put in place. But they're just doing it for a few people, which is those people are interacting with the community. So what we are saying as communities, there should be fixed facilities for testing, for treating the people, for isolating the people, to stop. We have to use this opportunity to stop the legacy of the brutality of the mines and do the right thing in this time. They must use this opportunity to change its nature of being brutality and help our community, especially in this era of this virus.
Absolutely. Oh, thanks very much for giving us your take. Certainly appreciate your time. Meshack Mbangula is the National Coordinator for Mining Affected Communities United in Action. That's an organization representing a lot of mining communities. Their voice certainly as important as any other stakeholder, as a whole lot of cluster outbreaks are witnessed across mining communities in the country.